Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Rose Lane. This is Judy. I'm just working on a new album. I've got a couple of exciting things to tell you, but today, first what I want to say is excuse my hands because I've been working with glue, ink, and more ink, a couple different colors, so I have very colorful hands this morning. Anyway, what I wanted to start to do, this is the first thing I wanted to start to do, is I wanted to start, if anybody reads in my description box below, I pretty much, I think almost always put in a little saying that says, so grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea and settle in here at Rose Lane and let's create something beautiful together. So, nice long sentence to say that what I want to start doing is kind of like a series, like something to put in a playlist, which would be let's create something beautiful. So instead of my just doing flip throughs or doing some how-tos or tutorials after somebody asks me how did you do that, I want to actually kind of craft along, whether you're doing what I'm going to do or whether you're going to do something else as we just sort of sit and chat together and just create something beautiful. So today I'm just going to do a couple of things in this new album that I'm working on, this new junk journal rather that I'm working on. It says album here, and that's, power of suggestion. So I'm going to do a couple things in here, and we're just going to kind of do it as we go. So I may make mistakes, I may do something and not like it, I may start over, I don't know, but that's the process, isn't it? So anyway, that's what the series that we're going to be doing. Here and there, we'll just go back and pick them up in between, but yes, they'll be sporadic until I figure out something better. But anyway, so the first thing I want to do, I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way, is this is one of the little pages that's going to be in my book, little half page. And what I did was last fall, I had found a hydrangea bush with these beautiful pinks and greens and took the flowers and I pressed them. Now I don't do anything fancy. I have a huge personal library and some of my books are very thick. So I do the old-fashioned thing and I stick them between the book pages and kind of usually forget about them. So I did that with this, and when I went to put the book away, I was like, oh my goodness, I have flowers in here. So I had all these hydrangea flowers and some other weedy things that I had gotten, and they're all in this box. And I'm going to show you something else about these boxes, which is going to be pretty cool for me anyway. So what I decided to do after I pressed them is to put them, most of the time people will put the dried flowers like in a slide or something like that. I decided I wanted to put them right on the page. Now I haven't sanded this down yet. I'm kind of afraid to even try. I think I'm going to kind of leave it because I don't want to wreck it for here, maybe when I practice. But anyway, what I did was simply just like you would put down a napkin or something like that is what I did. So I've got a little puddle of glue that I started over here with some water. I'm going to add some more glue to that. I don't know if it's on screen or not. My little spray bottle of water. Now, I keep all these paint brushes near my desk, or on my desk, I should say. I'm going to need more glue. I've got too much water in here again. Sometimes I don't always grab the same one for a similar project. I'll grab something I used for something else. Well, in this case, I did the same thing. I grabbed, I'm going to get another wipey thing because I just used that to clean up some of the water from the glue, and here's the glue. I grabbed this, I got this, by the way, this tacky glue was $1 at the Dollar Tree, so I got a whole bunch of them. Always good to have. So I picked up this brush and I started mixing, and when I kind of mushed down the brush, I realized that it had like gold in it, and sometimes I edge my pages in gold, kind of a gold leaf sort of, and I just sort of painted on, and it had that in it. So I don't know if you can see, if I put it here, and I'm going to kind of be in the shadow, but there's these tiny little specks of gold in there, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that. Just the tiniest little bit. But anyway, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do this on the opposite corner on this one. So I'm just going to paint a whole bunch of glue down here. You know, I just mixed the tacky glue with the water, is all I did. And I'm going to lay down some leaves. These obviously are not hydrangea leaves, because that would not work in here. Far too big. And this one I broke, so I want to try to be a little more careful with this one when I put it down. So let's try to just do that. And I'll put it, if I can keep it sort of together, you'll, whoops, see, I told you I'd make mistakes. You'll never know that it is broken, because we're going to just kind of glue it in place. So put the leaves down first, and I'm going to come over here. I'm glued to my page. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to get rid of these guys. Let me get these out of the box so they're not in my way, and I'll put them back in a minute. And then I'm just going to choose some of these flowers. Now, what I have, I want to try to get one that's got a little more color, and I know they go in sort of upside down with the stem out, but I kind of like the color. Let's see, this one. I guess we can put that one there. And another one. Like, oh, that one's got two. All right, let's see this one. I guess that would be good. You got to try to be quick because the glue does want to dry. But you can get underneath it with the brush. Anyway, I'll talk to you about these boxes in a minute. Right now, what I want to try to do is, with my tweezers holding it down, very, very carefully go back over it. Try to get around the edges, or I should say under the edges, as best as you can. Very, very gently. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing because I'm kind of in my own way. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. But what we're trying to do is make sure that it'll adhere to the page. And because we're going to put something over it, but we want it stuck here. Otherwise we're going to get air, you know, like air underneath it, and it's not going to want to stay down. So, and I'm hoping I'll manage to not have that be an issue. So I want to go all the way to the edge of the page with this now, as best as I can without kind of going over the back. I'm going to go out a little bit, and what I have here is Kleenex. It's just tissue, but it's the 3-ply. Let me show you the box. It's the Kleenex 3-ply tissues, if you can see that, because when you pull them apart, they're much thinner than the 2-ply tissue. So all I'm going to do is just, I'm going to lay that over the flowers. Then I'm going to start at the middle because I want to try to keep the wrinkles as much to a minimum as possible. They want to wrinkle because I've got something thicker underneath it. And I'm just going to bring it out. Try to do that. I'm hoping I'm not in your way. Let me try to move my hand a little bit. And it's okay if it wrinkles. I just don't want a whole bunch of wrinkles, if you know what I mean. And you can kind of smooth some of it away. And this is all I'm doing. And this way, you get to use those. Whoops, I kind of undid that. So let's try to. The nice thing about this is it's nice and thin and small. And if I have to, I can put, I didn't put it in the right place. So let's try my tweezers. There we go. I put a hole in the tissue there because it is very thin. And so that's that. Now this one that I showed you wasn't completely dry, and this is okay. That it's kind of pulling away from the edge of the page, which is fine. That's all right. Let me get that in the garbage if I can get it off my hands. And so we're just going to wait on this. Take this and clean up the glue here. So you can see that it's kind of, I mean, you can see it. I think you can see it through the glue here. but it's going to take a little while to dry. I actually did this one earlier, and I hit it with the heat gun, and then just sort of tore it away. I don't know if I'm going to cut this little edge off or if I really kind of like it the way it is. I don't know. We'll see. And then I just tore it away around here, and I sort of left it. Now, this is a little rough, and I may want to just take the little sanding block to that. But I think it really came out so pretty with the real flowers on the page like that. I think it looks really nice. So as this one dries, I'm going to put this to the side. So, oh, I made that one wet, but that's okay. That'll dry too. So I'm going to put that over here to the side and let that one dry. So I just wanted to show you that. I'm trying to get that out of the way. And I'm going to clean up this glue so I don't glue anything else that is not meant to be glued. Okay, clean all that up. That's good. Okay, and I'm going to move that over. So what this is, I'll tell you about this, is these are greeting card boxes. These happen to be the Dayspring ones. So what I'm going to do with these, and I had bought a bunch of little, let me pull these out so I can show you that too. Some stuff. I had bought a bunch of these kinds of boxes, which I also got in the Dollar Tree. These little jewelry boxes, these little necklace boxes, and I've got little fussy cut things that I don't want to put in the ephemera books. Well, this doesn't have to, but these are all white, so this is okay. But I did get some that were Christmas colored. So what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to get a can of white Krylon paint. And before I spray them, I'm going to cut a hole in here, a square, rectangle, whatever fits the box, and spray it. And then I have a pack of those old transparencies. If anybody remembers those from the overhead projector days, I'm really dating myself here, but some of you may know what I'm talking about. So they're kind of a heavy plastic, and they're so old that I've got them put away right now. I'm not sure where they are, but they're so old they actually have almost yellowed a little bit, which I never realized they would do, but that's how long it's been. But I'm going to take some of that because it's a little bit heavier, thicker plastic, and I'm just going to glue it down, and I'm probably just going to put a paper or something, you know, in here to kind of cover that up so the edges aren't just there. So that way I can see what's inside the box. So this is going to be spray painted white like the bottom, and the window is going to tell me what's in the box. And I may do labels or hang, like little eyelets and hang tags if I want to be really creative. But for anything like these flowers, or flowers like, let me see if I have another one. Well, like I showed you the butterflies. Let's see what else I've got down here. What's this? Oh no, that doesn't matter. But sometimes I have these little, which right now I have in a baggie, but I have these little fussy cut flowers that if you put them in an ephemera folder and tried to pull them out, they're very, you know, they can tear easily, they get caught on each other. So I find that if I put them in a box, which I have one somewhere, but just like I can do this, I can go in and I can just move them real easy with the tweezers, and I can pull out what I want without tearing anything that's fragile. So that's my plan with these things. So save all those little card boxes if you have them, or if you know somebody who has them. I'm going to put these things, well, that doesn't actually fit, so I'm just going to leave them over here. Save all these little card boxes, and you can do that with your fussy cut things that you don't want to stick in an ephemera folder. Now, I have ephemera folders that are coming eventually, but I have them all cut out and ready to go. I just haven't done them. Okay, so we did that part, and I want to watch my time if I can figure this out, which I'm not sure if I can. Okay, we are at about 15 minutes. Okay. All right, what I want to do here, push these guys back. Okay. Get rid of all my bits. I don't know, does anybody else have this issue? I'm forever trimming things to make it even, or I need just a little bit more taken off, and I have all these little kinds of things left. And when I walk away from my craft table, I look like I've been rolling around inside a shredder. I make a mess out of myself. I have little bits of thread and little bits of lace and everything just sticks to me. Yeah, I look like I've been doing something. Okay, so this is the first page I want to be on today. And what I want to do here is there's a belly band that I've done, and I'm just using regular paper, and I'm just going to pull this page out so that I'm just working on this. So I have this paper here. What I want to do, and I found that the vintage photo oxide kind of matches most of this. At least this is how it prints on my printer, and my printer is strange. The one printer I have, I've got another one here that I want to hook up. This one is just going to be the inkjet that I should be able to refill the cartridges with ink, so hopefully it'll save me some money. But what I have been using is a laser jet, and they're beautiful, the pages, but sometimes my printer just doesn't print certain things. I don't know what happens, but anyway. So this is the ink that I have been using, and this is what I'm using in this one. So what I want to do here is I want to do a belly band, and I'm going to do it on the back so I can erase it easier. I want the belly band to be probably about that wide, I guess. So let's see what we have for, I always get this wrong. This is the strangest little ruler. There we are. Okay. So this is like 2 1/4 inches, and I can see I've got a little burr on this end. So let me just try to, there we go. That's why I get covered with all these little things. Okay, so it's about 2 1/4 inches. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go 2 1/4 inches. And this may be the only thing we actually get done since I showed you the little flowers. 2 1/4 inches. I'm going to make this just a hair wider. So I'm going to go from 2 1/4, which is here, to 2 3/8. And then we're going to go 2 1/4 again. Okay. If I can get that to sit straight. Oops, I'm over too far. 2 1/4. All right, so total, this is going to be just shy of 7 inches. Not sure why that is, but okay. Just shy of 7 inches. And I'm going to try to cut this straight, one would hope. What does that look like? That looks pretty good. Okay, mostly what I do, I have all these cutters, but I get lazy. And honestly, sometimes I think they don't cut straight. So I've got this metal ruler. I move my little thing over. I've got the cutting mat underneath it. I don't know if you're seeing this or not. Yep, you are. Okay, and I'm just going to line up these lines, and hopefully I'm straight. Take my little X-Acto knife, put you over there. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. We want to make sure that we have folded this right. This doesn't seem right to me. This does not seem right to me. I did not do it right. Okay. We have, why do all the rulers come out different? This is very strange. Very, very, very strange. All right. You know what I'm going to try to do? I'm just going to see, how does this work if is it too wide for what I want? You know, I don't think it is. I think I like it that way. All right, so what I'm going to try to do is just kind of get these into thirds as best as I can, and usually what I do is just sort of do it like this. If you can see that in there. It gives me the basics. I am pretty good. I think I want this over just a bit more. I'm hoping this doesn't look weird because I'm so close to the camera. And I like that. All right. So let's get this one here. I'm just going to fold it down. And you know, I'm not sure what I've done with my bone folder. Isn't it amazing how you can just lose your stuff? I don't want to do it with this one because that one's too hard. You know what? Let me grab this. I'll use this one from my other scoreboard, which is over here. Oh, I think no, that's my old bone folder. Oh my goodness, I don't know where it went, but anyway, here we go. We'll just do that, and we'll put that one over there, which is fine, and do that. Okay, so this is essentially going to be our belly band. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edges here, which I know is kind of boring. Oh, and I don't usually ink over my workspace because I don't know if you can see this, but these things kind of chunk apart and they leave these little bits, and then when you put your paper down you get all these little brown marks on your paper because you're leaning it in this stuff. So I'm just going to ink this here just so that you don't get bored with looking at just a blank screen. And then I'm going to wipe this down just to be sure that I've got it cleaned up good. I like these sponges, but they do come apart. But you know, I guess everything after a while, I don't need the back done, I just need the front done. Okay, and we're going to need the inside done too. You can see this. Let me see if I can show you. Well, can you see all those little bits? That's what makes your paper get all weird. So I usually do it over the garbage can, which I'm going to go over there and do it over my garbage can right now, because I want to show you what I do when I don't have any, and I don't edit, so I apologize, or I could edit all this out, but I'm not that savvy yet. Maybe someday, but at the moment, not so much. So I'm just sort of, I am who I am. So I'm just going to ink these edges on the inside, and then I'll show you what I do to sort of make the paper look more tea-dyed without actually tea-dyeing it, which is just ink, and I'm sure you probably know that, but you know how to do that, or that you have done that. But that is my process today, and since we are crafting together, that is what we'll do. So this does not have to be perfect. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to take a different ink, which I have back here and here. And this is my brushed corduroy with these nice little makeup brushes. And I'm just going to lightly kind of go around. And I found that if I go over it twice, it tends to look a little bit better. So I'm going to do this. Try to go around the edges first and then get in the middle. And I don't mind if sometimes I get like a lot of ink and I sort of bash it down and it gets that kind of fingerprinty look, because I think, you know, it does kind of look like a fingerprint, and that's almost authentic. Because really, partly what discolors the paper is people's oil from their skin getting onto the papers, and over the years it just darkens. So if it looks like a fingerprint, all the better. And wouldn't it be neat if you actually had something very vintage and you could see a person's fingerprint in it? And it would be really, really neat if what you had was a letter or a diary page or something like that from an ancestor that actually left a fingerprint. You know, they had oil on their skin for whatever the reasons were, just because, you know, we have natural oils in our skin. And over the years, their fingerprint actually darkened onto a page. And I mean, how awesome is that? I'm a history nut. And one of my other hobbies is genealogy, and I'm doing genealogy for my family, and that's going to be other projects that you'll see me doing, because I'm going to be doing this kind of stuff to kind of document the family history. So there we have it. So this is what it was before, the white, and now it looks sort of tea stained, which is always nice. So we're going to put that to the side, and now what we're going to do is bring this over And I'm going to find a lace that I like. And my goodness, oops, I just knocked over my one cutting board, which is supposed to be, I'm going to put that away. Put that back up here where it belongs. And actually, that's not where it belongs. I'm like, why is it sitting right? It belongs there. Okay, let me find some lace. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you. All right, let's look down here. What do I have in this one? That's too big. I know what I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's down here. Nope, that's not the one either. Though, I think I'm going to use that one. Okay. All right, let me get this out. Okay, and let's see. I think I like this. It wasn't the one I was looking for, but I do like this one. Yes, I like this one. Okay, so what we're going to do first, actually, no, I can do that in a minute. Let's get this. I'm going to trim this so that it's a little neater. Okay. Get rid of that. Get my tacky glue. Oh, not my tacky glue, my Fabri-Tac. And I have to wait till it comes down to the end. You know, it always amazes me, you know, when you finally get done with a project, no matter how large the piece may actually be, when you look around your craft area and you see the disaster that that one technically small piece by comparison made, it just astonishes me. So I'm going to glue this down here. Try to get it as centered as I can. Okay, and I've buried my scissors. Here we go. And I'm just going to trim this piece. Put this to the side. Okay. And then I'm going to go down the edges just to make sure that this is completely glued down. I still see this shadow, you know, from my phone. My phone is my camera, and I don't like it, but it's the way the lighting is in here. And I tried to get a small, kind of a spotlighty table lamp, one that I could adjust and kind of move, but I got it at a thrift store. It didn't work when I got it home. My husband likes to tinker with things, and he keeps telling me he will, but so far he hasn't. So I have to pull this. I'm going to use my tweezers. You can see that this lace is kind of folded over. So let's try to pull it out with the tweezers. Let's see if I can get the glue to hold it in place. I didn't notice this when I put it down. So we're going to try to fix that a little. I may have to go back with the glue underneath it again, just to get it right. So, yeah, let's get some glue under here. Come on, you guys. So, oh, yes, so my other exciting news, which I said I was going to tell you. One is, well, back in December, Natalie from Line Dot Arrow asked me if I would do a design project for her. She didn't have a team at the time, but if you follow her, she has just created a design team. So I do still owe her a piece. If you have watched my videos, Natalie was the one who won my 1,000 subby prize. I had a giveaway for reaching 1,000 subbies, and she won the first prize. Ugh, this glue. Okay. So she really liked it, I guess, and asked me if I would use one of her, or one or two. I actually am going to use two of her paper designs together. And I have started that project as well, though I'm at the kind of boring part at the moment. So it's not, I'm not quite ready, I think, to put it on video. Let me get some more here. But anyway, I will be doing a piece for her as well. But I also did apply for G. Kerr, Happiness and Crafting, for her first design team, and I was one of the 14 that was chosen. So I will be doing for 6 months a design once a month for G. Kerr's Happiness and Crafting. And if you had watched my last, or next to last video, excuse me, I'll get some tea. Thank you. If you had watched that, you would have seen that, okay, so what I'm going to do here is this. You would have seen my Marie Rose folder. If you can hear me talking over this loud noise, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put that right down the center. I feel like this is a little not over enough. I am crooked, I think. Which way do I want to go? This way. Let me see if I can. I might be able to stretch this out some, so let me do that. Sometimes you just get it crooked. But anyway, that Marie Rose journal that I did, the name was Marie Rose, named after my sister, was primarily G. Kerr's paper, French Shabby Chic, I think it was called. And that looks a little bit better. Kind of straightened it out some. And then I'll use this to sort of straighten it out again. And that's going to just go right down the center there, like that, as best as I can get it. Okay, that'll be all right. So that was her paper in there. So if you hadn't seen that video that I did, you can go take a look and you can see the main pages and a lot of the tags. There is a little of My Porch prints in there as well. A couple of her papers I also used. And then, but the main pages and a lot of the tags are done with G's Shabby Chic French, or French Shabby Chic, something like that. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful paper. So I'm really excited about doing this. And so that's my first big news, is that I'm kind of technically doing design team work for two designers. So I'm really excited about that. And the other exciting thing is I have been working diligently behind the scenes because I am on target, I think, as long as nothing major happens. Let me get this couple of these little ends down. As long as nothing major happens, I am on target for getting my Etsy store finally open by the end of February. So I'm excited about that as well. Gotta get that guy down. Some of these just stick up, and I don't like it. I don't mind if they're not all like completely glued down. I just don't like them sticking up in the air. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now this one I'm going to try to cut off according to the flower here, so I don't kind of lose that flower. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so that's that. Then what I did, I'm going to put this away. Sorry for the noise again. I'm going to decide. Last time I used it, do I want this? Do I want something like this? No, that's too pale. Okay. What about I don't know. You know, I think I'm going to go with that one because it kind of matches this paper better. And I know I have these creases in them. And I dye my seam binding. I'll show you what I get, or what I can get as often as possible. I'm going to run back here and grab it. I'll be right back. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. I'm coming. Here I am. Ms. Gail Augustinelli says, talk amongst yourselves. But this is a color that I get, which was this color that I pulled out and said it was too pale. But I have this, and I usually have a cream color or something like that when I can get it. And I just buy the whole roll, which is the Hug Snug. And I dye it with my inks, my, pull these out, my Distress inks. And I just get the re-inkers, because that's usually, you can control the color better. You can make it more intense if you really want it bright and bold, or you can make it pale by just using a little bit with a lot of water. And what I do, I don't know if you can see this, but this is my recipe. So what I used on here was the cream colored ribbon, and under here it says Victorian Velvet. So I used Victorian Velvet on cream ribbon, and that's what I got. So I have a lot of these, and I would never remember what I did. And you'll never get it, of course, exactly the same, but it works. It's close. So that's kind of what I do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to move this over again so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to measure halfway down, give or take, and take my craft knife, 7.5, so that's 3 1/4. No, 7.5 is 3 3/4. So I'm going to go right from about here, 3 3/4. The ribbon is 1/2 inch, so I'm going to go from, I'm not good with this. I'm going to go 3 3/4. I'm going to go 2 on this side. I'm just going to go right along the seam here. Or not the seam, the fold. Okay. Hopefully I'm getting it all right. I'm kind of making a mess out of this one. Let me get this a little bit better here. And this is okay, even though it kind of wrecked it here. I'm going to kind of glue it in place so I can fix that. Let me get a better, let's try. Oh, that one I've got tied up. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get this guy, because I want to try to get the lines or the spaces as even as I can. I'm going to start with that one and go down about 1/2 inch, right about there. If I have to cut it a little bit more, I'll just cut it more. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm going to feed it through this way. Actually, let me do it this way. Okay. Like this. I'll get it right yet. I'll do it like that. Okay, so we'll do it from the back here. If I can get it through. I think you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to, the edges is a little, the edge of the ribbon is a little frayed. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put it through the other side like this. Okay. Make this lay flat. Twist it back. There we go. Okay. And that goes there. I'm going to pull this through and decide how much I think I want for the length of the ribbon. I don't want it too long, but I don't want it too short. I'm going to try to hold this up and make it even as best as I can. And then cut the ends. I'm going to come in here, and with my tacky art glitter glue, I'm going to just put a line here, and it doesn't want to come out. Get a pin. One of these days I'm going to get one of those nice little pretty beaded pin things that I had tiny little scissors once. Here we go. I just want to clip this little piece of paper because it's bothering me. Let's see if I can get this to come out. Yeah, that's fine. And that sort of puts that down there, and then one on the other side, which I think I'm going to have to cut this because it doesn't look like it's laying straight. So let me just go a little bit further down and pull this down more. I don't know if my head's in the way. I apologize because I still have my hair up from sleeping last night. All right, let's get this glue back on here again. Just a little bit along the edge to kind of help hold it in place, and the same thing on this part, just a little bit along the edge to help hold it in place. Okay, and then I'll glue it in here as well, right along the seam or the folds in the paper where you've cut, and that goes right like that. And that will dry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of paper, which maybe we'll use that one. And what we'll do is we're going to fold this into threes. Go a little wider, I think. And I'm not going to take the time to finish this whole thing right now, because I don't want this to be, you know, a ridiculously long video for just a couple of things. So put that over there and let it dry, and grab my ruler. This I'm going to do the same thing on. I'll ink the edges and you know, ink the back so it looks like it's tea dyed. Hopefully I didn't get too close to the paper here, which is good. I didn't. And this is what's going to happen here. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Okay, right about there. I'm thinking right about here. We'll cut that shorter. That to the side. This is going to get inked, okay, on the back. And what happens is this goes in here like this. We have that extra piece. This folds closed, and then this gets tied into a little bit of a bow. If I can get that through. My goodness, me and my chubby fingers. Okay, I'm gonna get it. I promise. It's there. Maybe not. Okay, let's try again. Okay, there, there, and there. You would think tying a bow wouldn't be so hard, but I did cut this ribbon, I think, just a little bit short. So that is where I'm having my issues. And I can't tell you how many ladies I watch who say, I'm not going to tie the bow on screen because it never works. And they're right, it never works. So there we go. I did get one. Not too bad. I will fix that later, but anyway, you get the general idea. And then we're going to just glue that onto the page here, which I'll use the tacky glue for that. And then I will make a tag that will go underneath it, or we will make a tag together that will go underneath it. I really liked this belly band idea. I came up with this, I think, in my Marie Rose one. And then I copied it in a little bit of a simpler form in my, well, maybe not simpler, but in my Christmas one that I just did. Whoops, I just dropped my ink. I mean my glue into the bin with my lace. Okay, I'm hoping my head is not in here because it looks really bad. Let me get my glue up here. Okay. All right. So that is the belly band done and complete. Very simple. And then that goes back in the page. So let me get that back in here. I believe that went there. Perhaps. No, you know what? I think it went first. I lost my spot. Here we go. Okay. So we have the first page, and then when you open it up, you have this belly band. When you untie the belly band, it opens up. This comes out. I might change this. I'm not sure I like that color. You have all the space to journal in, and then you have this whole piece that you can journal in as well. So even though you've covered up the page, and I did have a decorative paper, so I mean you could have written on that actually. You have all of this and all of this, so you end up with almost 2 pages or more worth of writing space, and then you'll get a tag behind here, and or 2, and you have that space as well. So that's what we've done for today. I'm going to leave this for now, and we'll be back to do some more Let's Create Something Beautiful in our series, more episodes of that as I go through this journal. That was a lot easier. I probably should have just glued it in first, and I would not have had such a difficulty trying to tie the bow, like when they go like that. So anyhow, so that is what we'll be doing, and I'll have this one, and I'll have several other ones. I've got a few things in the works to try to get that Etsy store open by the end of February. That is my goal. So that was my exciting news. The design team appointments that I have, and that my Etsy store is opening, and we're going to be doing a lot of these Let's Create Something Beautifuls together. Some people have Craft Along With Me or Let's Make. That this is going to be my version of that. So hopefully that will be good. So in the meantime, everybody be blessed and take care, and I will see you next time. Thanks again for coming. Bye-bye.